doing? Is that
Wait, so did we set up my ATM or no?
Yeah, we did set the ATM.
That's what I thought. So if you're getting stopped out a lot, it's usually two reasons. One, either you're misreading a pattern 4 or 5, which a lot of people struggle with, or you're selling into like support, like either the previous swing low, or like a pivot, or vice versa on the other side. So if you did you do them this morning?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, oh my goodness, my man's invisible. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that's Aaron. That's my son, Aaron.
Aaron, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
If you want to share your screen, you can put the plots on,
Okay.
and I can see where you took them, and I could show you what. To be honest with you, even with all those huge drops today, I didn't take a trade this morning because of all the pivots and everything.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm sharing my screen right now.
Which is rare. It's very rare for me to not take a trade.
Okay. Well, I took a couple trades. I'm not exactly sure when I took. Well, I guess one I got in here. That's my last trade I took. I took right here.
So good move, and you made money. I wouldn't have taken it because of this previous swing over at 11:30, that previous low. I would have waited until we broke that.
Okay. And my son is one who's very meticulous watching swings, and I've got to learn to do that more. But he's been
that was new for me. So like I was doing well about 6 months ago for a couple months, and then when I started not buying or selling into the last swing low and highs, like started crushing it.
Okay, so yeah, I should have kept an eye on that. Like I say, I got lucky. It went through the slam down.
You still would have made money if you had your sell order like right below that swing low.
Right, I see that. They've definitely done well for me.
Now here's the cautious thing. I wouldn't have also taken that trade because you see the pattern 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so a pattern 4. This is where it gets confusing. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. Number 1, pattern 4s and 5s are the same thing. Pattern 4 is at a sell time. Pattern 5 is at a buy time. Okay. So a pattern 4 is a sell time with a new low. A pattern 5, and just tell me to repeat it if you're taking notes. A pattern 5 is a buy time with a new high.
Okay, so this was a pattern with a double arrows. Are there, when the pattern comes up, do they normally do double arrows, or why is it double arrows?
So I'll show you that'll be the next part. This is the part that confuses people. A pattern 4 and 5 is always made up of 3 candles. It's the candle of the signal, the candle before the signal, and the candle after the signal.
Okay, so it's these 3 right here, 1, 2, and 3, correct?
Correct. So what that means is, once you see a new low since the last buy time or sell time, whatever it is, once you see a new low forming, or you see that pattern 4, you shouldn't have done anything until after this. Oh, I thought I had my drawing on. You shouldn't have done anything until after this candle closed. And then what you do is you put your sell order right below it.
Okay.
And if it does continue down, you would have hit both your targets.
Okay,
but look at this pattern 4 at 11:06. First it reversed. Look at this pattern 4 at 10:44. First it reversed. You got to be very careful with pattern 4s and 5s. 80% of the time, they will reverse in the opposite direction.
Okay.
So since we're trend traders, you got to wait until the candle closes after the signal. And then you put your sell order below the wick of the lowest candle. Now, here's the confusing thing too, right? Remember, it can be any one of these 3 candles. So see how this third candle was the low?
Yeah, here.
It doesn't have to be. This one could have been the low. This one could have been the low. Whichever the lowest candle of those three, that's where you're going to put your sell order.
Okay, okay.
And it's the same exact thing with a pattern 5, just a pattern 5 is a new high at a buy time. So whichever of the three candles is the highest, your buy order goes a couple ticks above the wick above it.
So on this one, would we still made would be really tight? We probably would have made it, but just barely, right? Our first time.
Yeah, you with the 200 ticks, with the 20 ticks, you would have hit it.
Okay.
So look right now, go to current time.
Over here.
Yep, we got a pattern 4. So I can't do anything until this candle closes.
Okay.
So look, this candle just made a new low.
Yeah.
Now, I don't buy or sell or do anything during lunch because any indicator with less volume is less accurate.
Okay.
But let's see what this, are you in sim?
I'm in sim right now, yeah.
All right, so go in sim and put a sell order right below that lowest wick. Not like right below, go a couple ticks. Go to like 17,580. I usually do it right around the arrow, like the bottom of the arrowhead.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Well,
yes, exactly. Now, here's the cool thing, right? If this is a normal pattern 4 that reverses, who cares? Our sell order never gets hit.
Right.
If it does continue, you got about a 90% chance during market hours, not lunch. If it does continue, you got a 90% chance that it's going to keep going like crazy.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. So the arrows, when there's a pattern 4, 5, or whatever the arrow, you're also going to get a double arrow. Is that right?
Yeah, you won't always like. Let's say this wasn't a new low. This wasn't a new low, and then this candle shot down.
Uh-huh.
You would just have one arrow.
Okay.
And you got to be careful too, because we're very big on not repainting our indicators. So see the white arrow here?
Yeah.
This showed a pattern 2 because this candle and this candle were not a new low.
Okay.
But then, oh, I lost my drawing tool. When this candle shot down and became a new low, it stayed a pattern 2 because it's not going to reprint. But that white arrow lets you know, hey, new low. You know what that means? Pattern 4. So these smaller triangles at the yellow candles are just telling you what the PVT is changing to.
Okay.
So yellow candle, you got the green triangle to let you know that this is actually a green candle.
Okay.
Right? Red triangle, even though this is a yellow candle telling you it's changing, it's letting you know this is actually a red candle.
Okay. Okay.
Remember, not everybody has all 3 indicators like you do. So there's going to be like a couple things that overlap. So let's right click on your chart and fix that now so we don't forget. Either was pretty far down on the. Yeah, I think we made them like 35.
Yeah, we actually did 40, I think. So.
Oh, did we? Nice. Okay.
Yeah, cell try. See, this is a template too. Template. Save as.
Yeah, that'll save your Omnia template. You can save them all as templates if you want it, like, each indicator.
Yeah. Apply. Okay.
Yeah, so now that I have Omnia as well, I'm always waiting for the candle after the signal.
Okay. Apparently still trying.
And then look, when there's small candles, then I wait for the next one. Because see how it reversed and Omnia told you it was a reversal? So if it's like a really small candle or a doji candle, I'm waiting even for the next one.
Okay.
Like here, I love. We have a pattern 4. We have a sell time. Omnia said we're going down. I'm super happy putting my sell order at the low, and that would have hit both targets for a quick $200. When all the rules apply, you're going to be at about 85 plus win rate.
Okay. So you want to, do you basically want to get in that pattern 4 or 5? Is that pretty much a prerequisite for getting into a trade? I mean, if there's a long, here, if there's a long move down, I mean, would you want to get in like here's you'd want to get in somewhere around here, would you not or not? Well, you're actually going into a buy thing, so would that negate the
Yeah, so this is a buy time. So I can't sell there because Omnia said buy and Warp said buy.
Okay. So that buy time that Omnia says gets negated when you see this arrow down, then you're also in that sell zone finally.
Yeah. So once you get to the next time zone, this means nothing.
Okay.
But good question, because that's a common mistake, and I used to make it a lot, Pat. Right? You see the market dropping, and you're like, "Let me get in." But when you jump the signal, look what happens. Then it was a pattern 4. You would have been stopped out.
Yeah.
So you've never jumped the signal. And now that I have Warp and Omnia, I don't trade until I see what the signal. I don't trade until I see what the bar after the time does.
Do you ever trade against that time? Those time bars, blue or red, white bar. You ever trade against those?
The only time I'll trade against a time is if it's with the trend and Omnia says that it's so. Let me see. Okay, see this buy time at 10. See this buy time at 10:57.
Okay, yeah.
So it's against the trend, right?
Right.
I have red PVT. At this point, I'm below the EMAs. If Omnia didn't have this green reversal, then I absolutely would have sold here. So I will ignore a time signal if all my rules apply and Omnia tells me that it is in that trend direction.
Okay, but a sell signal actually came below before the buy one, so you would just stay out of that one then, huh?
Exactly. Now, to also answer that, a lot of people love counter trend. It works, right? PVT told you green, this was a good trade. I'm just not a counter trend trader.
Okay.
So like right now, let's say it wasn't lunch, right? Right now it's 12:23. We're going down. We're almost below the 8 EMA. If we get below the 8 EMA and PVT goes red or yellow, if Omnia gives us a big red triangle, then I will ignore this buy time because Omnia tells me we can sell with the trend.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I know it's so much information because you got all the indicators, but does that make sense?
Yeah, so if you're going with the trend in like I say, even though you get the buy signal, well, actually the buy's kind of dying down there, almost at the end, but because it said buy or sell, then you would still feel safe selling it. But right now you wouldn't want to sell here because of multiple bottom. Correct? I mean, you wouldn't want to really sell.
Correct. I would not sell here because we're selling into, like you said, double bottom and previous swing low.
Right,
but
okay.
What I'm saying is if this candle stays down, Omnia is going to give us a sell time.
Okay, now way before we put this sell order, do we want to get rid of that because it's been so long?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't know you still had that on. So let's say this wasn't a previous swing low, right?
Right,
Omnia just gave us a sell signal.
Right.
So I put a sell order a couple ticks below that wick.
Oh, and the new one below this wick here.
Yes, if we didn't have that previous swing right below us.
Yeah, because you got this, and you got this here also. Even though you got the buy signal here because it's into it already. If you wouldn't have the previous low, otherwise you'd want to see it break down below here for starters. Correct?
Yes, correct. I would want to get below that previous swing, and man, if Omnia tells you sell, and you get a puncture of the signal, you know you got a good trade. I never, since I added the 8 and the 20, that's what helped my percentage go up too. Even against a trend, look what happens when the 8 crosses the 20. It'll ride that 8 for a while. Look what happened when the 8 crossed the 20. Look how long it rode the 8 EMA.
Okay.
So
you
no,
really
I
would not
will
want to
never
really
trade like if we're up here at the 120 and the 8 and the 20 are down here, I'm not selling into them. I'll just wait. Because remember, I'm trading 30 accounts. I'm not looking for 20 trades. I'm not looking for 5 trades. I'm looking for one.
One good one. Yeah.
Yep. So I'll sit there all day long waiting for that good trade.
And you always have to be below or above the 3 EMAs. That's the way you always do it. It's like solid law.
Yep. That's the way I do it. Now, like I said, you don't have to follow that.
Right.
But yes, that's the way I do it. Like I have a lot of guys that they'll use my rules, but because we're only doing 20 ticks, they'll take this 820. They'll take this 820 crossover against the trend as long as PVT is the right color.
Okay.
I just don't counter trend. Ron, one of the owners, he only trades counter trend.
Huh.
I always tell people trading is like diets. It's all going to work as long as you follow the rules and stay disciplined. Now, on a day like today when you're trending, VWAP means nothing because it's nowhere near us.
Okay.
I use VWAP just as any other support and resistance. So let's say we're over all the 3 EMAs and we're up here. I'm not buying until I close above it. Previous swings, the pivots, overnight low and high, and the VWAP. That's my support and resistance zones. Not zones, lines. So I don't wait just for the let's say I wanted to buy right now, right? Yes, I have to wait till PVT turns green.
Okay.
Green or yellow. There you go, yellow. So if I did want to buy, I can buy now.
Okay.
But if it's already red and I want to sell down here, I don't have to wait for any triangle. I just have to wait until the pattern. No, not red or green. The red and green lines are just the red and green lines are just your PVT open price line. So see the candle turned yellow here?
Wow.
That's just the open price line of the PVT. I don't use it for anything. Your punctures are your buy and sell lines.
Okay. So the price lines, do they even do any good? Those green and red lines, do they even do any good?
So I like them because see where we turned red right here?
Uh-huh.
Again, I know we got a previous swing low, but pretend we don't, right?
Yeah.
Even though the candles are red, I can't go short until I get back on the right side of the open price line.
Right.
So I do use them. I don't per se use them to get in and out of all my trades, but I do like having them on the chart just to kind of pay attention to them, if that makes sense.
Okay, so you basically want to go below there for starters to do a potential short.
Exactly. Like if to give you an example, I'm trying to look at my other chart. If it doesn't always happen, but there's times where PVT will turn yellow and the next candle's yellow because it goes right back. Right? So if we go yellow telling me that PVT is green, but I never can get above the open price line, I know we're going back to sellers very soon.
Okay. And there's really no open price line above that anywhere around there, is there?
So you're going to have an open price line every time you have a yellow candle.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Every time you have a yellow candle and PVT changes, it's going to give you that open price line. Look how strong those warp lines are. It whipped down and hit that warp line and shot right back up.
Yeah.
On the NQ and the ES.
Okay.
Okay, right click on your chart.
Indicators, I'm assuming, right?
I'm not sure. How did all that other stuff load? I thought, oh, your default must have a bunch of stuff on it. Take everything off except warp.
Time warp, there we go.
All right, now on the right-hand side, you're going to change the source one. Oh,
I'm
you
just
put the.
moving the price line. Okay, there we go.
You're going to change source 1, 2, 3, and 4 to 1, 2, 3, 0. Hourly, 4 hours. I would leave the 714. Same thing.
Okay.
So yeah, click apply, and then you can save this as daily warp. Add the warp panel. I always take that off because for me it just shows me the times. Like I don't feel like it adds anything.
Okay.
Some people love it though.
And then I got that, and just
Like it.
I do. There's a template, then, right?
You can. Before you save this, I put the patterns on. Go back into the indicators. In your time warp, go down to that signal accessory editor. It's in the signal presentation section. Yep, and it's at the very bottom of this section. See where it says hidden?
Hidden, yeah.
Change that to patterns.
Okay.
Uncheck both of the default colors and make them all lavender. Not there. Nope. Yep.
Right here.
Yeah, uncheck both of those, and then make all the colors lavender. Yep.
Okay, that's right. Lavender's up here. Okay.
All right. Now scroll all the way to the top, and there should be a box show signal dots only. Uncheck that.
Okay.
And now I would save this template before you click apply. I would save this as warp daily. When you save a template in here, and you may know this already, Pat, but I didn't, and a lot of people don't. When you save a template on this screen, you're saving the indicator template.
Okay.
When you save a template on this screen, you're saving a chart template.
Oh, okay.
Now let's give it a minute to load. I mean, the bar's not going to move because it's daily, but
right.
why don't we have the patterns? You hit apply, right?
Yeah.
Let's try again. I might have messed you up saving it. Maybe you saved the template before we hit apply.
No, you said hit the.
Oh, Pat, I see what it is. I see what it is. Look, they're too close to the times. So in the patterns, change the offset, and so you'll be surprised. There, yeah, do 120. Sometimes you need different templates just because of the pattern offset, because different instruments move differently. There you go. Beautiful.
Right.
When the market moves, they'll adjust to be what you could use as support or resistance or a stop loss.
Okay.
They're just lined up.
They never hit.
No, but look every time it gets to it, goes right back the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
Those lines are years of Michael's trading in the market and figuring out where he thinks support and resistance is for each time zone. Not time zone, time frame.
Okay, so when you look at that, you're basically seeing support and resistance is what that's.
100%. That's why we trade punctures, right? If this would have closed above it, you're closing above resistance. You know it's going to keep going up.
Right. Well, wouldn't you want those dotted lines on there?
They are.
Well, I can't see them.
Yeah, here's right click on your chart in the drop down. and go down the thickness and make it like 8. Hit apply, see what that does.
Oh yeah, much better.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I might want to make the 8 on your smaller time frames. That looks a lot better.
Okay, save. Okay, so we got that saved now. They're not too bad.
Yeah, I'm afraid I was thinking too on the smaller time frame, if we make these thicker, you may not see if it's a puncture or not, where the daily charts don't really get to them as often. You paid for warp, which is the times. You paid for PVT, which is your price volume, your green, yellow, and charts, which I would never use a single. Give you an example of how worth it the PVT is. Michael doesn't even use our $10,000 frequency program without PVT.
Okay.
And then you paid for Omnia, which is a whole nother indicator you can play with by itself, that other chart we made. I like using it for Confluent every day. Remember I told you I'm going to wait until the bar after the signal to let me know if Omnia says it's a buy or sell. You see over here how Omnia gives you a gray line.
Yeah.
That gray line is 1238. That is your buy time, right?
Yeah.
But Omnia said, hey, we're going up. It's a buy time, right?
Okay.
So basically, if you only use Omnia alone, you don't have buys and sells. You just have signals coming, and then you got to wait for the candle after to tell you what it is. I like Warp giving me the buys and sells, and then I use Omnia for confirmation.
Right here.
Yeah, so even I don't care that Omnia said buy. I don't care that PVT said green. I'm below the 120.
Okay, so you would not do that one, even though it looks very strong going up.
Yep.
This thing.
Now again, I have people that do and love it. You know, like Pat, look at it. Think of it this way: if you trade this way, you got a double bottom. You got Omnia saying buy. You got Warp saying buy, and then PVT turns green. I just don't trade against the trend.
Okay.
Right? You can still use these indicators to do counter trend, right? Double bottom. Oh man, I love double bottoms when PVT turns green and I'm in a buy time and Omnia said buy. And what's it doing?
Yeah. But technically you're against the trend because this says sell. Is that correct?
Well, yes. Now, so no, you would have got in here when it turned yellow.
Uh-huh.
And you would have got out when this candle closed at the sell time.
Okay.
Yeah, so now, but look, let's say we were above the trend. Let's say we were above the EMAs. I got a sell. I got green PVT. Omnia says green. If we were above the EMAs, I would follow Omnia and I would buy.
Okay, but because this EMA is still above there, you would never even gotten this trade because of the EMA.
Exactly, and look what's happening, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, pre-market. I don't trade till 940. Rule number 1.
Okay, so you're a little early. It's,
yep. And then when we got there, we went red PVT.
Okay.
Then when we got to the top, we were at a pattern 5 that could reverse. Then we stayed in between the EMAs. Here, PVT turned yellow, but didn't close above the EMAs. By the time it did, I was too close here, and I had a sell time come.
Okay.
So literally it was just, you're right, it was a good trending day. Just for my rules, nothing in. So I play safe. Now, because I didn't trade in the morning, I'll get on at 2 o'clock and see if a trade opens up. But if I make, like right now, you're green, man, green 200, 300 bucks, I never get back on in the afternoon. If I make a 200 trade at 950, I'm done trading for the day. So no, you would have got in here when it turned yellow.
Uh-huh.
And you would have got out when this candle closed at the sell time.
Okay.
Yeah, so now, but look, let's say we were above the trend. let's say we were above the EMAs. I got to sell. I got green PVT. Omnia says green. If we were above the EMAs, I would follow Omnia and I would buy.
Okay, but because this EMA is still above there, you would never even gotten this trade because of the EMA.
Exactly. And look what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-market. I don't trade till 9:40. Rule number 1.
Okay, so you're a little early.
Yep. And then when we got there, we went red PVT.
Okay.
Then when we got to the top, we were at a pattern 5 that could reverse. Then we stayed in between the EMAs. Here, PVT turned yellow, but didn't close above the EMAs. By the time it did, I was too close here, and I had a sell time come. So literally it was just, you're right, it was a good trending day. Just for my rules, nothing in. So I play safe. Now, because I didn't trade in the morning, I'll get on at 2 o'clock and see if the trade opens up. But if I make, like right now, you're green, man, green 200, 300 bucks, I never get back on in the afternoon. If I make a 200 trade at 950, I'm done trading for the day.